Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I'm going to be doing a 12-month flip through of my personal catch-all planner. So it is that time of year apparently where I'm decluttering and just kind of getting ready for 2026. I always like to have these videos recorded, one, for posterity. I don't tend to keep my pages long term, and so being able to have it on YouTube and I can watch it over and over again if I need to is great. Two, I need to clear it out. Look at it. It is like super chunky. And so in order to prepare for 2026, I have to flip through everything beforehand and start clearing things out so that way I have the room to be able to put 2026 pages on here. Now, I am not ready to talk about 2026 planners yet. I am still thinking about the different planners that I want to use in 2026. But for now, I can at least start by clearing it out and, kind of giving myself the space to put new planners in if I need to. So this video, like I said, is going to be 12 months of planner pages. It will be going through 12 months. It will not actually have all 12 months here, and we'll talk about why that is and all of that. But I'm actually going to start a little bit back in time. It's not going to be calendar year 2025. It's actually going to be July 2024 to June 2025, so an academic year. And so we'll cover 12 months. And like I said, it won't be planner pages for all 12 months, but I'll definitely show you what I was able to do in that 12-month period for my personal planning. Now, I do have several planners, and so this is just what I consider my catch-all. I write pretty much everything in this planner, and so if I have a specialty planner of some sort, I will write brief notes in here, but the more detailed notes will go in my specialty planner. This, though, does I try to cover everything. So I'll have social media notes, food notes, all the different notes are in here. So we're going to actually turn it like this so I can have a little bit more turning space. So like I said, I'm starting with July 2024, and part of the reason for that is because when I went back to my YouTube channel and tried to find my 2024 full calendar year flip through, I didn't actually have one. I don't know why, I just skipped it. I must have wanted to record it at some point and then I just never did. So we're gonna start with July because I know that in my last catch-all flip through video, I ended with July. So we're gonna kind of just pick up from that point. In July, I was using a mini happy planner. So this is July 2024. What I ended up doing for July was making it a monthly. So it's actually a month on 4 pages. So this is the first part of July. And then this is the 21st. This is the 22nd. So this is the second part of the month of July. And I just put my notes in here just like that. And I thought that turned out actually super cute. Really cute like that. And so that was it. That was it for July. Let me see. I did actually also do weekly pages apparently. I don't recall, you guys, like these flip throughs are kind of fun in that going back like a full year back, I just don't remember some of the things that I did. I can definitely tell you a little bit closer in time. Like, so I'm recording this September 2025. I can tell you about maybe like June 2025, but to tell you about June 2024, that's beyond me. I just cannot do that. Okay, so getting back to this. So I did the monthly. I also did use mini happy planner pages in a weekly format. And so same kind of deal, but I just made it more detail oriented. I wrote actually also in these pages any things that were not scheduled on the monthly, but were things that I just ended up doing that day. So major events. So those are all here. All right, and this turned out super cute. All right, and this is going into the next week. Right, that also turned out super cute. I love my handwriting here. Looks really good. Okay, and then I did not do any dating whatsoever for any of these, but this is like going into like the 21st, I think. Right, this is about the 28th. And again, I think it turned out really cute. All right, this is a good size for me actually. And then I did do a Christmas in July spread. That looks really nice. And we were in Destin for the end of July going into August. Okay. All right, now I'm looking and I also see that I also did daily pages. Now, the way that I would do this is if I have monthly, weekly, and daily, is that the monthly would be the overview, like the things that I have scheduled well in advance. I would say at least a week in advance. Those things end up on my monthly. For the weekly, they could be anything that is on the monthly. So everything from the monthly goes into the weekly, but also any additional plans that get added either like that week or even like that day. Like I might get a phone call from my sister and she would say, hey, come over to my house. And I would just go to her house. And so those things would end up on the weekly. Then the daily, I would assume I went and just did my to-do list. So these, I think I must have tried to categorize them by color with the washi dots. But you can see I literally used like an actual monthly spread. And I just completely ignored the, the layout, whatever the layout was. And I just did it as a single column and I just wrote all the things, right? So that was the 7th. Here is going through the 21st, right? So again, it's just, here I tried to use the lines. And here is an actual like task list. So I used the lines here, but I didn't worry about like making it by week or by day or anything like that. I just kind of wrote until I ran out of space. Right, then I have a random, literally a sticky note. I could have used the back. I'm not quite sure why I didn't, but there is that. Right, and then going into August. So for August, I did the same thing. So this is the monthly on 4 pages. This turned out, like I said, is so cute, right? Right, I think this is a great idea to be able to use some of these vertical mini pages, because vertical mini, I feel like it's so small, but it's perfect for like this monthly. That's just my opinion, right? And so I did the monthly, right? And apparently that was all I did. So I'm not quite sure where my other notes are. Again, trying to throw back 11 months now to try to remember what exactly happened. I would say I was probably using a digital tool of some sort, either Google Calendar or Remember the Milk or something else to track all of the other like tasks and like last minute events. Those probably ended up on something else. But in terms of paper, that's all I have for my catch-all. So moving into September, one thing about September here is I'm noticing this is a brand new divider. And so I picked up on clearance, probably in September, I picked up on clearance an 18-month monthly layout planner. And so I ended up deciding just to go ahead and start using it. So this is the divider from Boardwalk Ice Cream. And I did a monthly. It's so cute. I love it. It is so cute. All right, it's very, very busy. This is what my life looks like probably all the time. It's just notes everywhere. So that's the monthly. And the monthly layout is where it has kind of like this dashboard page where you're able to take notes for the entire month. I ended up decorating it and using it like not even one habit tracker, like literally marked one day. So I probably picked up the planner right around here, like September 11th. But that's really all I put there. And I did the cryptogram like literally one day. So that is all. But the monthly planner also has like these kind of daily task list pages. Let me flip and show you kind of a more empty one. So it looks like this, where it's 4 pages like this. And you're able just to kind of like write all your tasks. So going back here, this is just all of my tasks. I don't really worry too much about like dating it. So they're actually, let me go back here again. These blocks are meant to be one set per day, but I don't do that. I just kind of like run it down the list, and whenever I need to skip a space, I skip a space. Whenever I need to, go to the next column, I just go to the next column. So like right here, this is September 3rd. It has the 03 right there. This one says, this is when I completed it, is in the parentheses. So I completed these on the 17th and 18th. And then this one says 04. That's when I completed that. 04 and 019. 019. Okay, so the 4th and the 19th. So apparently Sophia was sick twice this month. And then this one says Sophia calendar, and I didn't bother putting the date, but sometimes I put the date. All right, so all of these must have been for the 3rd. This one is for the 4th. Here's for the 5th, the 6th, the 9th, so you kind of get, like, I date it, but I don't put like a whole separate column for it. All right, and then some of these, like I've added stickers. I just made it pretty. All right, so here are some more just notes to myself that I just completely just wrote on a random thing and just stuck it in here. This one was, I was starting to do a September like smash book type of deal. I wanted to be more glue book, and then I ended up only doing this one page. So I broke down that smash book or that glue book and just stuck that one piece in here. Right, so this is, I decided to glue it. All right, so it's glued down. You really can't see that, but like I was taking notes for like different, this looks like notes from something I was doing for functional planning. So this probably actually should go into my social media planner. All right, a couple of extra notes there. And then here, these are some notes from Disney, right? So it's looking at some Disney stuff. So again, that could go into my Disney planner. So again, all of these were with that glue book, and I was just kind of using it as actually, it wasn't a glue book. It was like a commonplace book. I was just taking random notes. And so I do think that looking at them now, I would move these pages. And in fact, I'm going to take them out and move them. All right, so I'm going to move those to its like various, like the Disney planner into my social media planner. All right, I wrote on a random sticky note here. All right, and then some more more tasks, but you can see it's empty under here, so I just put the sticky note in this little spot that was empty, and that works out totally fine. Okay, and then I started here, but you can see the rest of it is completely empty, so I have plenty of space with this format. I also went through my Remember the Milk, that's RTM, and looked at several old tasks. Remember the Milk is a digital task management tool, so it's basically like a giant digital task manager, and I went through there and just deleted several tasks that were in Remember the Milk that I never checked off as completed, but these were things I've done already. They're completed, I just never marked them as done. And so I just wrote them out here because I like to do that type of thing, just like look at my digital tools but also write it down on paper. Okay, and so then going here, this is my micro planner. So this is a 3x4 size for micro planning, and it is so cute and so tiny. So this is, it says September, right? But it's meant to be October, I think, right? So I've got some notes here for end of September, right? End of September, and then going into October. And I must have put it here just to kind of have it be between months, but I have all of my October notes. You can see there are lots of things here that are crossed out because at this point in 2024, I was using this micro size as a pre-planner. So it would house all of my plans. It could be like months, years in advance, and I would write those things down. And so as time got closer, things would get canceled, they would get rescheduled, they would get moved, and I would just cross it out and just kind of call it a day. I have a little note here that all the red, the things that I wrote in red were things that I scheduled literally within like 24 to 48 hours. Actually, no, like within 24 hours. And then the purple were the things that I scheduled 48 or, more than 24 hours, but like within a week. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I scheduled it within that week, but not like right on top of the day. And then all the red were the things I scheduled either the day before or even the day of. Okay, and so let me see, like right here, that's an example that's in red. This was also in red, right? So there's some examples of that. Okay, now trying to move a little bit more quickly because this video is very long. All right, this is October. All right, I did not actually do the monthly. Not quite sure why. Okay, this is so weird. I don't know why I did this, but I did this in a Work Plus Life planner. Okay, I'm trying to remember, and I'm pretty sure that in 2024, I was using a combination of Work Plus Life plus daily pages, and I don't know why I did this. Yeah, I don't know why I did that on this instead of on the boardwalk ice cream, but I did. So here we go. This is what it looks like. Right, and so this is the back of the Work Plus Life, and so that is just to-do list, right? And I only used the to-do list part, and then I moved into a different layout altogether. Not layout, but like a different planner altogether, but I had a random page, and so I started taking the to-do list items from the monthly layout, right, like that. Right, and then yeah, I don't know, it's completely mixed up, but you can see here's some red notes, right? So these are the red notes. There's some purple notes and red notes in here, right? And so I must have done all of my planning here. Okay, so like how earlier I had the mini happy planner, I basically just try to keep everything condensed to this micro, and it looks very squished, so I'm not a huge fan of that, but it definitely got the work done. So that's all that matters. Like obviously we were in Orlando, so not a lot of plans there, but it worked. This actually worked to have it be that tiny. It just looks super squished. Okay, going into November, all right, I didn't use the monthly again, and all right, let me just flip through this because the very first thing I see is a printout of my Remember the Milk, right? And again, it's just a list of to-dos, and so I just copied everything that was in Remember the Milk. I just hit copy on Remember the Milk items, right? So that's that. All right, and then looking here, this is from another monthly layout planner. So here, oh look, I actually did this. Okay, so here is cleaning out my master closet. This is cleaning out my planner closet, and this is like scanning or trying to organize, declutter my paper. I tend to, in the fall, I'm like looking at this, I tend to September, October, November try to go into decluttering mode to try to prepare for the next year. So obviously this is very big for me in November. All right, and so I'm looking at this. I did only tasks, so I used this space for tasks, and then these are tasks, and I checked it when it got completed. All right, and then here randomly just decided to journal, which I like to journal, so there's some journaling here, but then it goes back to tasks, And I completely ignore all the things that make it not November. I just ignored all of that. All right, so here's a sticky note that I just stuck here. And again, ignoring all the April stuff. All right, here's my micro. Again, I assume that there's going to be, nope, it's not super crowded with notes. So I didn't write notes in there at the same level as I did in October. So must have been a conscious decision. I have no clue at this point. Okay, I put this divider in here and there are no notes. Oh, I have a separate planner for this. Okay, so I do remember some things, you guys. All right, so here we are. I'm going to show you this because in December 2024, I decided to make it essentially a single planner, like every single thing from all of my plans, all of my journaling, everything from any specialty planner, I decided just to make it into a single book. So this is the single planner that I was using in December 2024. All right, so super cute, all of that. All right, so these are just some budget notes. Again, I combined everything. So budget was in here as well as everything else. And what I did was try to split it up to like kind of 2/3 and 1/3. So the 2/3, the bigger side, was my events and journaling. And then this side was my task list. So you see here, this is December 1st. I have birthday notes in here. So I had lots of birthday notes, but then all of my events I put in big, like big lettering, and then the journaling just kind of occurred around it. And then here's my task list. All right, so okay, this is all right. I must have decided to make a copy of this and move it to my faith planner. So that's what that blue is like I made a copy of this and moved it to my planner. But these are faith notes. Again, it was all combined into one. So faith, budget, birthday notes, more birthday notes. All right, this one I didn't use, but here's some holiday stuff. This is Sophia's Christmas wish list that she wrote. Again, all of it's all combined. Here's the second, right? So same kind of format. This was more half and half, but same kind of format. And then here I just took random notes. The events are the ones that are in the boxes. Here, again, the events are in boxes. This one I put no events. I love that. All right, so here's the 5th. This is super messy, you guys, but this is what December looked like. All right, look at this. All right, I was writing in pencil, right? December tends to be like that, right? Like you just have to do what you have to do. I still had my micro, so I took several notes here in my micro. I started with the 10th and I took some notes here, but I'm not quite sure why yeah, so it's through the 15th. So that's a weekly, right? And then I have some daily pages kind of following that weekly, and I'm assuming it runs through the 15th. So here's some more. The 11th, this is the 12th. Right, I can definitely see food in here, so I put everything in here. Right, and I'm using all sorts of like random sizes, bits and bobs, all the different pieces. Right, so here's the 15th, which is Sunday. Right, and then I had a little brain dump, and then I ended. Okay, I'm not going to flip through this, but I can already see these are Christmas cards. So I just put an envelope in here and just stuck all the Christmas cards in there. All right, and then picking up with the 15th again, and then just writing all the stuff. All of it just landed on here. So here's the 21st. This says 10 o'clock, so this is time. But these, I don't know when exactly this happened. I have no idea. All right, so I have a couple of blank pages, not quite sure why that is, but this is the 23rd, starting at 6 o'clock. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why, but like I started dating it and timing it. So this is the 24th at 8, 9, at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, right? So then I have some Christmas notes. Again, all of these should probably be moved to various specialty planners. I'll do that separately. But this is the Christmas menu for one meal, and this is the Christmas menu for the other meal. So I obviously have 2 Christmases, and luckily our families, my husband and I's family, are close together in like physical space. So we live in the same city or the same area, and so we do one meal with my side of the family and one meal with his side of the family. Okay, so I'm taking more notes. You see, this is the 25th, the 27th. I'm just using all the random bits and bobs. I'm not really focusing on like actually having them be organized or like follow the layout. I just write. All right, so this I have to blur out, but that's just an invitation to a fancy meal that we got, and I have to blur some of this out as well just because of name. Actually, yeah, no, I had to blur that out. It has addresses on there. So again, just more notes. as random as possible. That's kind of how I feel about it. So this one I did want to end on reflecting on the year, just because that was one of the pages that was in the Stargazer monthly layout, and so I did journal a little bit about that. And again, going back to just like random pieces, I have 2 notes on here, and then there are like a lot of like these are all the random pieces that I was going to pull from to be able to write some of these pages. But this, I'm just looking through this, these are all like random monthly layout planner pages. So from various monthly layout planners. So this one's from like a super cute neutral one, and then there's vintage botanicals. This one is like from the very first monthly layout, like an undated monthly layout. This is Stargazer. So I was just using all those random bits. Obviously didn't use all of it, but that was December 2024. Okay, I'm coming back here, and I said that I was going to flip through 12 months, but just doing that first 6-month period was very long. So I am going to go ahead and pause here and flip through 2025, the first 6 months of 2025 in its own separate video. What I will do in the meantime is take these pages out just because it's getting full. So we'll start right here with this divider. So yeah, you know, I have to kind of like do what I have to do to make sure that the videos are not extremely long. So that's kind of where we are. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I did for the last half of 2024, July to December 2024. It was a little bit messy. But that is how my planning style actually is. It tends to lean towards like very chaotic, messy, but it gets the work done. I tend to be a very productive person, so it's working for me. That's all I can say. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will flip through this part of it, the next 6 months, January through June 2025, in a separate video. So stay tuned for that. Please do subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of these videos. So if you enjoy my style of YouTube videos, I definitely recommend that. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And until the next video, bye guys.